Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here today with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Bruce. How are you doing?
Not so good. I
Yeah.
came up with a positive test this morning. Went out for lunch with a couple of friends a couple days ago, and one warned me that he tested positive, and the other one said he did too. So I thought I better test.
You still have those tests hanging around? I don't have it.
I'll be missing the concert tomorrow night because of that.
Oh, which concert were you going to go see?
A band called the Musical Box. They're a tribute band for the great prog rock band Genesis. Favorite of my youth, but unfortunately, I can't go to a crowded hall and sit with other people.
I had never heard of Genesis.
The bid.
I had never heard of Genesis until I went to first year university.
Oh yeah.
Fall of 1980.
Yeah, they were a popular university band.
And they were. My roommate was from Montreal.
And they're big in Montreal.
He had this album he kept playing. I think it was an album called "The Lamb Lies Down" on Broadway. I think,
and that's one of them.
Yeah, it was a good album. Yeah, so they were huge, of course. And then the two solo acts out of Genesis, Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins, and Mike Rutherford. I think that was his name. They all had big hits. All right, Bruce. 4-1 Dallas over the Oilers. A weird game. I think it's fair to say the Oilers got goalied in that game. The grade A shots were in the contest. 15-10 for the Oilers. 5 alarm shots, subset of 5 alarms, 7-4 for the Oilers. So you would have expected the Oilers to score about 3 or 4 goals, and Dallas about 2 or 3. So that's not how it worked out. It was 4-1 for Dallas. And it was a weird, tough way to lose this game, which we'll get into. Very, very tough. But that happens. That happens. Bruce?
Yeah, it does. I want to look and see what the expected goal count was in all situations. And it was 3.2 for Dallas and 3.16 for the Oilers. So they see it as pretty much an even game. But the Oilers got 1 goal out of the expected 3.16. They just couldn't finish. They couldn't beat Ottinger. They couldn't get a bounce at any point. And
they could not get a bounce. Bruce, this is our 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers podcast. What is your good thing?
Yeah, I'm going to single out Zach Hyman. He, of the 54 goals plus 16 in the playoffs last year, who through 6 games has 0 goals and 0 assists.
Wow.
But you know what? It's not for lack of effort. And I thought the last 3 games in particular, we've seen Hyman just been all over it. And he certainly was today, taking up his customary spot on the edge of the crease, driving hard to the net, finding pucks. And he just could not, like all of the Oilers, solve Jake Ottinger. Unlike many of them, he was actually able to get shots through on the guy and test him. And it was, I think he had 5 high danger shots in this game, and no other Oiler had more than 2. So he was the guy that was, at what should be expected to be the finishing end of the plays. And of course they couldn't finish, which was a bad thing in this game. But I am not going to criticize the effort or the skill that Zach Hyman put through. He just couldn't solve Jake Ottinger.
He has had, Bruce, in his 6 games so far this year, he's had 28 major contributions to grade A shots.
How many today?
28 in total this year.
Okay.
6 today.
6.
So he would have expected you would expect him to have 7 points by now.
Yeah.
If everything breaks on average, he would have 7 points, and he's got none. So he's having a bit of a rough go of it. When they didn't score, there was a particular play just wait, early in the third period, I believe, where they broke in. Just an absolutely beautiful passing play between Bouchard starts it off. It's 4 minutes into the third period. Bouchard starts it off by deking a Dallas player. He puts the puck up, I think, to Draisaitl, to McDavid, then over to Bouchard, who makes an absolutely spectacular pass to Hyman at the edge of the crease. And Hyman has lots of time, and he kind of slams it into the goalie. That was a fantastic play. And Edmonton needed a goal there. That's when they needed to score. It would have made it 1-1, but they didn't. And yeah, Hyman could not find a way tonight, unfortunately.
No, he had 5 high danger chances, and all of the other Oilers combined had 6. So I'm going to find it pretty hard to blame Zach Hyman. I mean, obviously you want him to put one in, and I'm pretty sure he probably wants to put one in at this point. He's it's hard, and I thought, he didn't have defensive issues like at least one of his line mates did.
Yeah. Bruce, my good thing is breaking the shutout. It was another really fantastic play. The Oilers had 6-on-5 at the time. And the puck comes around the boards, and McDavid just charges in, swoops in, wins the puck battle, puts it over to Nuge, who then makes a fantastic pass to Leon Draisaitl, who slams in the puck. And it just it was this was a game the Oilers easily could have won. I don't. This was not a terrible effort in any way. This was an outstanding game in many ways for the Edmonton Oilers, with some bad luck and a few bad plays.
Yep.
But Dallas also had some bad plays.
Yep.
This goal broke Ottinger's shutout, which is always a good thing, so he can't go away too happy. But the other thing is, Bruce, it symbolizes to me, like if you think about how the Oilers are going to win this year, they're a little short on physical play and they're a little short on speed, like skating speed. But what I've noticed in the last 2 or 3 games, especially the last 2 games against really good teams, against Nashville, I think Nashville's a good team and Dallas is a really good team, is they're able to play fast hockey. They're not the fastest team in the league. They might even lack a few guys. They might need some more fast guys. They're obviously not the most physical team. They're not a big hitting team at all right now. And, they really miss Kane and Holloway up front, honestly. But what they are is a team that can really play fast hockey. They really move the puck fast. They make excellent decisions on the attack fast. And I was just all game, I was impressed by pretty much everyone on the team in that regard. I thought they were really hitting their passes, hitting the man. And that included some of the defensemen who have been getting some criticism. I thought Nurse was really passing the puck well today, as was Emberson, who has struggled and been nervous.
I liked his game, Emberson's game today.
Yeah, he had one bad shift where he got beat out of the corner, but for a grade A shot. But other than he was moving the puck really well. Kulak is moving the puck well. Of course, Ekholm and Bouchard are fantastic at that, and Stetcher can move the puck as well. So they have defensemen who can all move the puck. They don't have anyone who can't, because I think Emberson can. I just think he was nervous in those first games, and this whole team can. This is what this team's going to specialize in. And it reminds me of the Detroit Red Wings teams under Ken Holland, when they were really good in the 90s and the 2000s. Those teams weren't big hitting teams, generally speaking, and they weren't necessarily the fastest teams either, although they had fast players. But they played with a blistering pace. And I think if the Oilers are going to win this year, the offense is going to come from that blistering pace, which is what we saw in that goal. Just incredible speed. I mean, McDavid is, of course, the fastest player probably in the NHL, but it's the pace of the play that the other teams can't keep up with. And as this Oilers team, I'm even though they're 2-4 right now, and I was worried 3 games in, because you were thinking, I was thinking, what the hell's going on here? But they have really picked up the pace of their play and are moving that puck exceedingly well. And if they can just figure out defense, just figure out a few aspects of defense, which I do think they're tightening up, they're going to be okay. I'm confident in this team right now. I'm liking what I see, and I was worried. I was genuinely worried about the team before because of the lack of skating speed and physicality. But now I do think they have enough skill and pace and speed just to outpass other teams, essentially.
Yeah, not so much on the physicality.
No.
They had 10 hits in this game. 10. This is like the 34th game where they've been down around that number, which is really low. 23 for Dallas, and Oilers' 6 D-men had 2 hits among the 6 of them. So
They're not a hitting. They're not going to be a hitting team.
Doesn't seem like it's part of it, really, does it? Once in a while, someone steps up. I'm liking Pod Colson on the physical side of things, and he's a breath of fresh air down there in the bottom 6. But without Kane and without some of the guys that have moved on, they're just not bangers, you know.
The good news is, hopefully, at some point, Evander Kane's coming back this year, and with hopefully with all the work he's had, and if he has a good training regimen and he's committed, he'll come back as good as ever. Now that doesn't always turn out to be the case, does it, with power forwards who are, what is he, 32, 33? That's often when they fall off a cliff. Right. But what I noticed last year, Bruce, is he really still can play hockey when he's healthy. So I'm quite confident. You can only be like, I'm not like 100%, but I'm 80% confident that that Kane's going to come back and be a reasonable facsimile of his near peak. I think he's going to be a near peak player. Odds are. So, Bruce, what's your bad thing?
Yeah, I'm going to single out the Oilers. What's our 4th line today? Or probably not by ice time, but the line of Adam Henrique with Connor Brown, and at the end of the game, Matthias Janmark. These are the 3 guys that everybody was so happy that the Oilers re-signed them all on July 1st. Well, they did not have a good game today. And in particular, Adam Henrique had a very poor time of it with, brutal. He was on the ice for the penalty kill goal against, and he was on the ice for the 3-0 goal and at fault on it. But when he was on the ice, Henrique, the Oilers were outshot. The shot attempts were where you had them, 25-7 for Dallas. Shots were 8-3. High dangers were 4-0. Scoring chances were 10-3. And on his individual line, he had -2, no shot attempts, 6 giveaways, 3 block shots. So kudos for that, I guess. And 1 for 9 for an 11% on the faceoff dot. Like, those numbers are beneath terrible. That's just like, you're just getting destroyed out there. You can't win a draw. You can't get a shot. You keep coughing up the puck. And, just not good enough, Adam Henrique. And I've been happy with him most games, but I wasn't happy with his game today. And Connor Brown was not the primary culprit on that line, but he wasn't exactly pushing things in the right direction. I'll give Janmark a little bit of a pass because he only played the last part of the game with those guys. His overall shot shares were fine up until he got put with them, and then his tanked as well. So, but that line is supposed to, their job is to keep the game, scoreless when they're out there. It's kind of their main job. They're not going to generate a lot, but the idea is you don't give up a lot. But when you keep coughing up the puck, and anyway, not a good game for those guys, and that was one of the primary differences between the 2 teams today.
There's a non-zero chance, Bruce, that it was Henrique No,
That
no, I
chip.
know there's not everyone's going to agree with this because like as soon as the Dallas first goal happened, it's a
Mhm.
power play face off. It goes to Duchesne, and from high up, kind of above the circles, at the top of the circles, he risks it a hard shot.
Mhm.
And online there was an eruption of accusation and vitriol directed at Stuart Skinner for allowing a goal from that spot. And
Mhm.
initially that's what I thought happened, but then as I'm watching the replay, I noticed something like it was the last replay especially, it looks like it hit a stick and suddenly veered in another direction, which makes
Not by
sense. Stuart,
much.
not by much, but Stuart
And
Skinner would have that shot. I think he would have had that shot, but I think it was tipped, and it might have been. It's a non-zero chance it was Henrique, but there's
I
a real
think it
good
was
chance
Nurse. I think it
it
was
was a real
Nurse.
good chance it was Darnell Nurse, our favorite shot tipper. And man, anyway, we've dealt with
Ooh.
that before. But
Now that angle showed slightly different. I'm watching this goal as we speak, and it might have hit the blade. It did. It tickled off the end of the blade of Henrique's stick. Look at that. I finally saw the right angle.
it was Henrique.
It was Henrique. Yeah, it just
Well, there
tipped
we
off the
go.
very end of the blade, and it changed direction by 6 inches, foot at most, like
Okay.
almost imperceptible. But Skinner's got his glove ready to catch the puck, and it just
What replays that, Bruce? Because you're not going to convince people online. Like I put this out there that I thought it was deflected in probably by
this
Nurse,
this was the
and
one
I
from
got
behind.
nothing.
This was the one from behind the play, looking up the ice from the Dallas
When did
end.
they run it? When did they run that replay?
It was about the third replay after the goal. I kept noticing the puck trajectory changed a little bit. It went from flat and it just put a wobble on it.
Yeah.
And this on my computer, I just got a little better resolution of it than I had earlier. And I think it did tickle the end of Henrique's stick.
Is that in the official NHL.com highlights, or where are you watching that?
Yeah, NHL.com. Yeah.
Just when you watch the goal itself, they'll show you that particular highlight.
Around of the replay,
Is this
around
like
the
this 10-minute game clip? Like when
well, just if you go to the game summary, like
yeah,
the game review page, each of
yeah,
the goals with a little arrow there, you can click on it and see the highlight of just that goal.
okay.
And this is like 23 seconds into the 31-second highlight.
Okay, you go
And
to the game just so people can
yeah,
do this. Because
yeah,
listen, Bruce, I'll tell you what, people are dead set. This was Stuart Skinner's fault. Don't
uh-huh.
tell me otherwise. So I just want to give
Yeah,
them a chance
well,
to see what you're seeing. And
yeah,
what I saw, I that shot was deflected.
it was. I'm certain it was deflected.
Okay.
And Skinner, I mean, it was from close range. And honestly, I mean, Henrique, he lost some kind of physical battle to Mason Marchman in the face-off circle. So he was late. He didn't get anywhere near the shooter, which is his man, really, off a lost face-off. And he just didn't get out at all. And basically, he went over to Nurse's spot. And the two of them, their skates are almost touching. It's weird.
Yeah.
But
Just
it's,
gonna watch it now myself.
yeah.
Anyway, so
And
that was on Henrique, and
yeah,
I've changed our official
yeah, yeah. No,
scoring
it's.
document. So
Yeah,
that adds
tickled
to
the very
his
end of the blade of
bad
his
game.
stick. That
Oops, I've
adds to
lost you there,
his
Bruce. Sorry about that.
miserable afternoon. He
My
really had
fault.
a tough time of it.
So,
And I thought Nurse too. I thought it hit it,
off the
the
ball here.
shaft of his stick, but this angle seems
There
to
we go.
me at the very toe of his stick. Man, what can go wrong, eh? Anyway, it
Yeah,
was
it starts wobbling for sure. Yeah, I see what you're
yeah,
saying now.
yeah. Just watch the very end of Henrique's stick. Just focus on that as the puck goes by, and it just touches the toe. Anyway, that's how I see it with my head in the vapors. So don't hold it against me if I'm wrong, but it is what I see.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, there'll be
Yeah.
a debate about it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so my bad thing, Bruce, is the danger man, not covering the danger man. And it happened twice in a row on goals 2 and 3.
Right.
And it is the hardest thing to do in hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I've been doing video review of goals since 2007 and 8,
Yeah.
and of all the grade A shots since 2010, 11. And if there's one thing I've picked up from doing, watching thousands and thousands of grade A shots and reviewing them repeatedly. It's just how on most goals, maybe not most goals, but on many goals, it's the danger man who's going to score. And when you're teaching defense at the NHL level or at any level of hockey, to teach that awareness when you're a defender, to be always thinking about the danger man, it should be at the top of people's minds, defenders' minds when they're defending in hockey. Who's the danger man? Where is he coming from? Where's the danger coming from? And they always think it's the guy with the puck. You know what? The goalies are pretty good at stopping that guy with the puck, especially in the NHL. The first shot, even in tight. Yeah. And Bouchard on the second goal, Dallas's second goal, the big old what's his name, Marchment, or that winger.
Yep, Mason
Marchment busts down the wing. There's been a couple bad bounces already. McDavid's had a bad bounce off a skate, and Bouchard's fallen down, and then he gets beat on the rush. Anyway, Marchment's going to rush in, and he's probably going to be able to jam the puck hard on net, but Stuart Skinner's going to be able to stop it. Even though, so Bouchard's been beat, and Marchment's in position to do that, but Ekholm gets sucked over. He decides he's going to stop Marchment. Even though Marchment's not the danger man, Stuart Skinner was going to stop him 9 times out of 10 on that, on whatever kind of shot he was going to get. But because Ekholm comes over to try to make the play, he's late. He's in no man's land when the puck is passed over and slammed into the net by Duchesne for his second goal of the game. So Ekholm was an experienced player, and I don't blame him, because this is you got to be Nicholas Lidstrom brilliant on defense to always be calm and make the right read and cover the danger man off. That's what Lidstrom did better than any player I've ever seen. And Ekholm failed to do it on that shift, and they scored because of it.
Did you think McDavid had any play on the actual goal score? Like, it was his turnover in the other end that led to the rush, but he was just kind of trailing the play and watching.
Well, could he have rushed back harder? You'd have to watch it again. Bruce,
you probably think it's a 2-on-2.
It's a 2-on-2, so he's thinking, I've got to watch the other, I got to watch the trailers, they often don't, the forwards, right? They'll let the trailer come in and score. But that's really not, it's a 2-on-2. They should have that, probably. Now, he could have rushed back hard and maybe have made a play, possibly. So the second goal I'm going to talk about is the third goal, which comes just shortly after that. And this time the puck is being cycled down low, goes to the corner. Nurse goes to do battle. It's pushed over then to Stetcher's man in the corner, Stankoven, who makes a one-touch pass through Stetcher. And Adam Henrique, who's supposed to be in a zone, who's supposed to be covering the front of the net, has wandered over to help Darnell Nurse in his battle. And he's completely out of position for Roope Hintz to get the puck and slam it in the net. And again, Henrique is a veteran hockey player. They're playing a zone defense. He just blew his assignment completely on the play. And they're doing it because he's doing it, I think, because they want to win the puck back and rush to get back in the game, right? Like he's probably being a little over aggressive on the puck, which at that point, I don't know, you just never want to, if your job is to cover the front of the net, cover the front of the net, because the danger man is there. He's just waiting for you guys to get sucked towards the puck carriers and all the bother behind the net. They cannot score from behind the net. Logan Stankoven cannot score from behind the net. But if you wander off to help Darnell Nurse in a battle in the corner, you're leaving the guy who can score when he gets the puck, and that's what happened there. So it's not just the Oilers, of course, who allow this kind of goal consistently. All of the teams do. I think the zone does a really good job of controlling for it, because it has the players kind of in a headspace where they're not man for man. They are thinking of covering, looking for players coming into their area and covering off that guy. So it gets them in a headspace where they're, I think, actually fairly effective in covering off the danger man coming in late to the play to score the goal. And I think under Knoblauch, I think he's done a really good job of teaching them that, and they've done better progressively better the longer he's been coach. They've been a little slow at the start of the year here to pick up the old habits that they developed in the playoffs. But I think this team will become fairly solid on defense once the season goes along, and we'll see fewer and fewer kind of plays. Certainly, like Henrique made. The one Ekholm made was more of a reaction play. It's just so happened so fast, that he thinks maybe Marchment is going to actually get a much better chance on net because he's beaten Bouchard than he got, so he moves over. But the one on Henrique, he's just got to have that. He cannot allow, and you could see him burst after the play. If you watch the replay again, Henrique after that play just knows, and he's his head's down, and he's blaming himself as he should.
Yeah. Should.
Your number.
Yeah, my number has to do with Oilers special teams through 6 games. This has been a real strength of this team for years. Great power play, generally considered the best of the league, and has been number 1 in the league, I think, 3 different years. And conversion percentage, well, currently they rank 30th with one power play goal and 15 opportunities this year. 1-15. And so 30th.
They did score one right after the end.
Yeah, they scored one. Yeah, in the game they scored against Philly, they got their one, and they scored another right after a power play.
Play ended. The other guy hadn't gotten back in the play, and they scored. So.
Yeah, and only.
Yeah.
So, but the power play shines compared to the penalty kill, which.
Oh my goodness.
They have played now again 6 games. They've been shorthanded 20 times. They've given up 9 goals out of 20. 9 goals. Power play goals against. They got 9, and no other team in the league has more than 6. Like the second worst team in the league, there's a big tie there, but they all have no more than 6. The Oilers 9, and today it was the difference in the hockey game.
It was.
The Oilers had 2 power play chances, couldn't convert, and Dallas got 1. And think of it this way: Oilers played 6 games against Dallas in the playoffs, and Stars didn't score a single power play goal in 6 games. Today, the Oilers couldn't make it to 6 seconds without keeping the puck out of the net. They couldn't make it to 3 seconds. The faceoff was at 28.9 and the goal was at 26.0. It's almost as fast as you can score. And like the penalty kill, well, yeah. Anyway, it's
terrible.
It's just terrible, and it's one thing that it was a huge key to their success last year. Like they had 2 series where they outscored the other team while playing shorthanded, including the Dallas series. And on the playoffs overall, they only gave in 4 goals on, I think it was 70 chances. Now it's 9 for 20. So I'd rather them be good in the playoffs and crap in the regular season. But there's crap, and then there's whatever this is, which is, just it's nowhere near acceptable. Yeah. You got to be able to kill a penalty. Holy moly. Anyway, that was in the 40th minute of the game. They took their only penalty. I didn't like the penalty by Stetcher. Kind of threw himself into the feet of the Dallas guy, and the ref's going to call that 10 times out of 10, and he did. Yeah. But the PK, lose face off, shot, tip it into your own net.
Not good. The Oilers had the 2 power plays. They only had 1 grade A shot, and it was kind of a marginal grade A shot from Bouchard. It's Bouchard shooting it in close enough, but right at the top of the scoring chance zone, and they didn't. They're just not sharp. So Bruce, we track individual contributions to the grade A power play shots.
Yeah.
And my number is, I was just checking to see, okay, who early in this year is behind the rate that they set last year. And you got to know the rate they set last year was a really good rate because they had an excellent power play. So, for instance, on a 2 minutes of power play time last year, McDavid was making 1.3 major contributions to a grade A shot last year on the power play, and that was in the playoffs. In the regular season, he was also he was 1.3 in the playoffs and 1.2 in the regular season. Nuge was 0.6 in the playoffs for 2-minute power plays, and he was 0.7 in the regular season. So they were both. McDavid was unreal, and Nuge was also doing very well. In the so far this regular season, Bruce, McDavid is less than half that rate of major contributions to grade A shots on the power play. He's at 0.6 instead of 0.1, 0.2, or 1.3. And Nugent Hopkins is at about 1/3. Instead of him being at 0.6 or 0.7, he's at 0.2. So what these two what these guys have in common is they're the engines of the power play in a lot of ways. Bouchard most often passes to one of those two guys to get it going. And what I'm seeing is other teams being super aggressive on those two players on every Oiler, honestly. The other teams have decided they're going to be super aggressive on the kill, and it's working. And it's particularly working on McDavid and Nugent Hopkins, who are they're getting checked hard. They're not getting any space. They're not getting any freebies, and it's working. They're shutting these guys down. They're not yet sharp enough, Nugent Hopkins or McDavid, that they can beat that kind of pressure. What they're going to have to do is start deking some guys or moving the puck quicker. But I think they're going to have to start taking some of these guys. Like if someone's coming at you aggressively, they've got a little bit of forward momentum often, and you can take that chance, I think, on the power play to deke them, certainly McDavid, and then take the puck to the net. And if they can start to do that regularly, they'll punish the pressure that's being put on them on the perimeter. But they're going to have to do that. They're going to have to beat the guy and take it hard to the net, and or make a quick pass so someone else can. But they're capable of it, and I think they will figure it out. I mean, there's some talk. Nuge is off to a really rough start this year, both at even strength on the power play and probably on the penalty kill, from what you just said. So he's starting to get a bit of heat here, and some people are suggesting maybe put someone else out there instead of Nugent Hopkins. I would be really hesitant to do that, given the history of this power play, the tremendous success over time, and the fact that he's so unselfish, Nugent Hopkins. So I just think he greases the wheel for everyone else by being so unselfish, by passing, making such great distribution of the puck. So I'm not in favor of changing the power play up or anything like that, but they might have to rethink. They might have to up their aggression and see if that works. Attacking aggression. Thoughts? I can't hear you, Bruce.
Muted myself because I
There we
was
go.
coughing.
Yeah, there you go.
Couldn't get their shots through. They're really struggling again with that today, although I did get 4 shots in the 2 power plays. On the year, they're barely averaging 1 shot per power play.
Wow.
Which is just not good enough. So
do you think they should shoot more, or what would be your recipe? Do you have a recipe or any thoughts on it, or what's your take? What's going on?
I don't know. They need to find their game. Like their big power play weapon, Draisaitl. They're not really finding him, or when they do, there's the other teams are playing someone in his lane. Even when he's off the puck, there seems to often be a guy in his lane. And as you say, I think both McDavid and Nugent Hopkins, and the numbers back this up, are just a little sub what we've come to expect from them on that unit.
Yeah.
And Bouchard's had trouble getting his shots through. That's been a big issue. He did today, at least he did finally. First game he had more shots on goal than blocks. So that's a positive.
I think the answer is probably Connor McDavid just to take over and try to take the puck to the net. Get some speed. Like it is interesting how they're on Draisaitl and Bouchard. Like they're taking away those shots. So maybe it's just up to McDavid to just take that puck to the net and ram it down their throats. Have Hyman screen and just go for it. Just try to take it right in and put the puck in on a shot. He's capable of doing it, and that will upset their tactics. He just has to beat one guy, and he can beat one guy. So that's what I'd like to. That's what I think they should try, and I think McDavid's ready for that. Like I think he's back up to speed. I think that he's going now, and I think he's ready to start attacking like that. So
I
just
thought
a
he was
thought.
dancing pretty good in the first two periods.
And
It
against
seemed like,
Nashville too. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, it just wasn't their day. And I mean, the team as a whole, I mean, this is a team that led the NHL in goal scoring year before last. They have 11 goals in 6 games. It's not just the power play. 11 goals. So they're averaging under 2 goals a game, and that won't get it done. Even in a defensive game, you're have to give up a couple, and if you're only getting one, well,
Yeah.
not much margin for error there.
And I was worried about that, but I'm not anymore. Like the last couple games, I think like they got like 17 grade A shots against Nashville, 15 against Dallas. So they're coming on here. I see goals in their future. If I had a crystal ball, that's what I would predict. Bruce, you got a bad cold. You got a little bit of work ahead of you.
I got the vid.
You got the vid. We will call it a night and wish you the best and hopefully you'll be when's the next game?
Next game is Tuesday night against Carolina Hurricanes, home game against Carolina. So not exactly a gimme.
Well, if you're like me with this cold, Bruce, you'll be coughing into the mic for the next 3 months. So hopefully you're not like that.
Hope not.
I sure hope not either. You don't usually get that sick where that happens, but
well,
seems like a
first test positive, so I don't know what to expect.
Oh, with COVID, is this your first?
Yeah, no, I actually tested. Yeah.
Have you had colds before? And you always tested.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There was one time I probably had it, and I never got a positive test. That was the day, that was the time I stopped walking for a week. So I have a feeling, in retrospect, it probably was, and I just never got sort of the test to prove it. I was just laid out, so it was probably. But that was 2 years ago. So.
Alrighty. Well, hang in there.
Yeah, thanks.
And good luck. Bruce, thanks for talking tonight.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.